Welcome back to another explainer. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Today we're unpacking a really charming tale. It's called The Secret of the Flying Book. Now, at first glance, you might think, oh, it's just a simple children's story. But trust me, it's so much more than that. We're going to break down the narrative elements of this beautiful piece of source material to explore some incredibly profound themes: the true power of empathy, the huge impact of shared happiness, and what it really truly means to connect with others. Honestly, there's a lot to unpack here, no matter how old we are, so let's get into it.
So, quick question. Have you ever dreamed of actually entering a story world? Seriously, take a second and try to connect with your inner child. Think back to when you were little, reading your absolute favorite book or listening to an amazing story. Remember that almost overwhelming urge to just step right through the pages and straight into a fairy tale? To walk side by side with the heroes? To see the magic with your own two eyes? Well, hold on to that feeling, because that exact yearning is the emotional engine driving our entire narrative today.
All right, moving into Section 1, Discovery of the Magical Book, an unexpected find.
Okay, so meet our protagonist, Mira. She's this sweet, young girl living in a quiet little town. And her everyday reality basically consists of listening to her grandmother's magical tales, just completely captivated. But she longs for more. She wants to experience the magic for herself. And the catalyst for her whole journey? An old, dusty school library. I mean, it's basically the perfect setting for a hidden treasure, right? So she's exploring, and she finally stumbles upon this glowing, mysterious book completely covered in dust. And the moment she opens it, golden light just spills out from its pages. And then the impossible happens. The book doesn't just glow, it speaks to her. Imagine the absolute thrill of this moment. The book hovers in the air and says, "I am a magical flying book. Would you like to go to the world of stories?" I mean, talk about the ultimate call to adventure. It's that exact childhood wish we were just talking about, suddenly manifesting right in front of her. And of course, without even a second thought, Mira joyfully shouts, "Yes!"
That brings us to Section 2, The World Beyond the Sky, a magical realm. Instantly, she's transported high above the clouds to this totally unbelievable new realm. And when she arrives, she finds talking animals just roaming around, these magnificent flying castles literally suspended in midair, and vibrant glowing rainbows painting the entire sky. It is exactly what a magical world should be. Just a total visual feast, an absolute paradise of imagination.
But things aren't quite perfect, which leads us to Section 3, The Missing Happy Story, a sad magical world.
See, there's this really stark, heartbreaking contrast going on here. On one hand, we've got these breathtaking magical wonders, but on the other hand, the emotional reality of the people living there is completely different. All the children in this world are intensely sad. And why? Well, it turns out their happy story has completely vanished, gone. And without it, the smiles have just disappeared from their faces. It perfectly illustrates a really core theme of this text. External beauty and magical surroundings mean absolutely nothing if there's an internal absence of joy.
Now Mira, seeing all this sadness, doesn't just stand by and watch. Her empathy kicks in immediately. She teams up with a small talking owl and a magical rabbit, and she essentially becomes the active hero of the narrative, driven purely by compassion. She sets off on this grand quest with her new magical squad to track down the missing joy and bring the smiles back to these kids.
Now for Section 4, The Dragon and True Friendship, Finding the Story.
So they finally track down the story, and guess who has it? A dragon. But here is where the narrative pulls a fantastic twist. The dragon actually confesses, saying, "No one is my friend, so I hid the story." We're so conditioned to think of dragons as these mindless, hoarding monsters that heroes just have to slay. But this dragon, it isn't a monster at all. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a deeply lonely creature desperately seeking connection, just acting out because it's so isolated.
So how does Mira handle this big, scary threat? With incredible maturity, honestly. Instead of attacking or fighting, she just listens. She listens to the dragon explain its loneliness. And then she smiles. She offers true friendship, telling the dragon that they can all be friends if he wants. And by doing this, she restores the joy. It proves something really profound. Offering a warm smile and the hand of friendship is just infinitely more powerful than fighting with swords. Empathy literally conquers isolation.
Which takes us to our final part, Section 5, The Real Lesson of the Story, True Magic Revealed.
After hearing Mira's offer, the dragon is overjoyed and happily returns the story.
The very moment the book opens again, the whole magical world is flooded with light and joyous laughter, and the children immediately start to dance. But then, the scene shifts. The very next morning, Mira wakes up back in her own bed. Was it all just a dream? Well, right next to her pillow lies that exact same glowing magical book. It's a tangible piece of magic left behind, absolute proof of her transformative journey.
And that brings us to the core takeaway of this entire explainer. The real magic of stories? It isn't flying castles or talking animals. The real magic is friendship, kindness, and sharing happiness with others. Mira realizes that good stories and true friends have this unparalleled ability to bring joy to any sad heart, anywhere, in any world. That's a true power we all possess.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on today. Who brings happiness into your story? This explainer isn't just about analyzing a fairy tale, it's about the real-life magic of human connection. I highly encourage you to take a moment and think about the people who light up your world, and, maybe even more importantly, how you can be that light, that friend, for someone else in your own daily adventures. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this wonderful story. Keep learning, keep sharing, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.
For more interesting videos, subscribe our YouTube channel